미국에서 약물이 아니라 전기 신호로 통증을 없애는 치료법이 나왔습니다. 10번 치료하면 만성 통증에도 좋다고 하는데 이게 정말 사실인지 미 상원에서 청문회가 열리기도 했습니다. 워싱턴 주영진 특파원입니다.
나무 주변에서 놀다가 번개에 맞은 뒤로 극심한 통증에 시달려온 고등학생이 병원을 찾았습니다. 특이한 점은 주사를 맞거나 약을 먹지 않고 통증 치료기로 치료를 받는다는 것입니다.
I get pretty much every kind of pain imaginable. Usually 5 minutes after I get plugged in, my pain's almost completely gone.
이 치료기는 통증 부위 주변에 붙이는 패드를 통해 무통증 전기 신호를 뇌에 전달하도록 해서 통증을 치료하는 원리를 이용하고 있습니다. 신경성 통증은 물론 암 환자를 비롯한 만성적인 통증 치료에 효과가 입증돼 2009년에 미 식품의약국의 사용 승인을 얻었습니다. 하버드 의대 등 유명 병원들과 미국 국립군병원 등에서 사용하고 있습니다.
Each treatment takes about 30 minutes and you do it for up to 10 days in a row. It doesn't cause any of the usual side effects you see with pills.
지금 현재 서울대 암병원하고 국립암센터에서 지금 임상을 진행하고 있고 현재 이제 한국 진입을 지금 시작을 하고 있습니다.
최근 미 상원에서 청문회가 열리는 등 약물 없이 통증을 가라앉히는 새로운 치료법에 대한 관심이 커지고 있어 이 통증 치료기를 도입하는 병원들도 크게 늘어날 것으로 보입니다. 워싱턴에서 SBS 주영진입니다.
Chronic pain is a problem facing more than 76 million Americans. They take pills, try shock therapy, but the pain is still there.
That's all changing, though, thanks to a local doctor with a machine his patients call a miracle. ABC 6 reporter Erica Ritchie is live in the studio with a story you'll see only on 6. Erica?
Well, Alton, that's right. We're talking about the type of pain caused by a botched surgery, chemotherapy, even the stub of a toe. Chronic pain sufferers, you know who you are. Your medicine cabinet is stocked with pain pills. But you know, if they work, it's only for a little while. This new therapy, though, is healing the hurt for good.
I forgot what it was like to live pain-free.
For nearly 3 years, Katie Pyatt couldn't do this, let alone this, all because she slipped and fell at her Houston office.
I had a really bad ankle sprain.
The then 22-year-old didn't think too much of it until 6 months later. The pain in her right foot was so bad, it crippled her.
It's like playing out in the snow with no gloves on and then coming inside and putting your hands underneath warm water. It's that burning.
Doctors diagnosed her with CRIPS, complex regional pain syndrome. It's pain that's gone rogue. The thing that caused it, like the sprained ankle, heals. But the pain itself takes on a life of its own, seemingly immune to the treatments on the market.
And I was taking hydrocodone, I was on Oxy for a little bit, pretty much anything out there, which it never helped.
Then Katie heard of Dr. Stephen D'Amato here in Rhode Island.
Today, the first time we're going to be able to venture into your toes with these electrodes now.
Dr. D'Amato practices a breakthrough treatment called scrambler therapy at the Kalmar Pain Clinic in North Providence. He's the first in the country to do so.
I was the first medical doctor from the United States to be personally trained by the inventor of this technology.
Italian Dr. Giuseppe Marineo figured out how to use electricity from this machine to not only treat chronic pain, but in some cases, cure it.
What we're doing is picking up the nerve pathways that go from your feet, up through your spinal cord, and up to the brain, delivering this message of non-pain.
And it seems to be working. Dr. D'Amato has an 89% success rate treating CRIPS, 87% when it comes to failed back surgery. But the procedure is also effective for things like spinal stenosis, chemotherapy-induced pain, and low back pain.
This should be the go-to therapy.
It's non-invasive, non-chemical, and there are no known side effects. The machine puts out about as much electricity as static. But what does it feel like? Dr. D'Amato let me see for myself.
It feels like a little needle, like when you're getting blood drawn.
A little pinching sensation. Nothing uncomfortable, it's not hurting. Right?
Except I have a very low pain tolerance.
But if you were in a lot of pain...
Now it's kind of tingling.
Now that's the tingling.
And now this one's starting.
Tingling. Exactly. And that tingling now, if you were in pain here, your pain would be gone. Okay.
So now a typical patient would endure 5 days of this on, 2 days off, another 5 days on, and then ultimately, hopefully, the pain would be gone.
But it's one of those, you have to see it to believe it.
Like many, Katie was admittedly doubtful about the therapy. Remember, she'd been suffering since 2008 and had undergone several unsuccessful treatments. But one day with this machine convinced her.
I have no pain. I'm just so happy. I can't stop smiling now.
Scrambler therapy is now being used to treat wounded soldiers at the Walter Reed Medical Center in Washington, D.C., and Dr. D'Amato is the one who trained the doctors there.
Wow.
John and Allison, pretty amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Is this covered by insurance?
It is not as of right now. They are in the process of working toward that, so if you typically have that 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, it costs you about $3,000, but not everyone needs that many days depending on what type of pain and how long it's been there. So.
That relief was written all over her face.
Yeah, just to see that smile, and she told me her first day with no pain, she was just crying and sobbing uncontrollably because she thought her life was over at 22, and now she's got it back again.
Awesome. Great.
Great.
Thanks, Eric.
Calmar Pain Relief Therapy has given me a new beginning so that I can return to an old life that I loved without pain. I've always been very fit and very active. That came to a slowing after a major car accident. The pain didn't go away. So that was the beginning of my chronic pain syndrome. I did my homework. I Googled the MC5A technology. I found awards it had won. I found that it had been FDA approved, only available in a few states. And the most important thing I found is that Dr. D'Amato is the go-to guy in the United States. He is the one with the training directly from the inventor, creator in Italy of this use of technology. Essentially, even with no insurance coverage for the treatment that I've received, it's 1/10 cheaper than the 20% I would have paid for the surgery that could have left me permanently crippled. So I came in cautiously optimistic. I felt it would help. I had no idea that it would actually heal. So it was my back, no, my shoulder the next day, my hip, no, my knee, wait, my neck, and wait, now there's no pain. Could not be more grateful to the skilled, kind, and brilliant staff and physician.
A new FDA-approved device has eliminated severe pain in a 14-year-old Utah boy suffering from a common form of dystrophy.
It's the same system that ended pain for a 17-year-old teenager struck by lightning. Ed Yates shows us more.
I never thought I would see this 6 months ago. I thought I was going to be on crutches forever.
In a symbolic celebratory walk, Taylor Johnson waves goodbye to his crutches, free from severe pain from a nerve disorder called reflex neurovascular dystrophy, or RND.
It sends pain signals to the brain even though there's no injury, and then it shuts off the blood vessels, so my leg would get really cold and swollen.
You would see him and you would just kind of brush the skin or even sometimes blow on it and he'd have pain.
Drugs failed to bring relief, and physical therapy had done little to strengthen atrophied muscles in his leg. The Johnsons had even turned to a pain specialist in Philadelphia.
And we had kind of plateaued. He wasn't getting any better or any worse with the physical therapy, but you could also get on their waiting list for Philadelphia and wait 6 months and spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 doing that.
As a last resort, the Johnsons took Taylor to Utah's Sparrow Clinic to try out a new device called Calmari. They had seen this story last year on Channel 5 about how the system relieved severe pain in Alex Lamson, one of 2 teenagers struck by lightning. Researchers believe Calmari's electrical manipulation of peripheral nerves may be retraining the brain that the pain is not there after an injury has healed, or in Taylor's case, where there's no injury at all. Though Dr. Robert Chalmers was not optimistic it would work on Taylor's dystrophy, it did.
In Taylor's case, he had a less than dramatic response as he endured the first session of therapy, but after he went home in the first 24 hours, he had experienced a significant difference. And
after several treatments, the pain was gone. From crutches to no crutches, to walking with his brothers and sisters. Let alone walking. Who could have imagined 6 months ago Taylor jumping on a pogo stick? How about a 25-mile hike on the rim of the Grand Canyon? Running, cycling, skating, and more. For Taylor, it's 2 simple words.
Really awesome.
Ed Yates, KSL 5 News.
Clinical trials for the Calmari device are now underway in 5 major medical centers.
Calmar Pain Relief is really a godsend for my son and his way of life. I would recommend the Calmar Pain Relief therapy to anybody.
Before I came to Calmar, I didn't think anything was going to work, and the Calmar therapy did, and it was the best decision that I've ever made.
My son Sam is 17 years old, has had a disorder, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, since he was 11. He stubbed his foot on a door jamb. Within a couple of weeks, he started developing a pain that we didn't know what was going on. Went to a couple of orthopedics, and they didn't find anything wrong with his foot. The second orthopedic actually had us go to a neurologist because he suspected that it was RSD. It had been in remission for about 5 years with some flare-ups, but nothing of significance. But back in November of this year, pretty much out of the blue, he came to me and his pain levels had increased to anywhere between an 8 and a 10 in his right ankle.
I had the mindset nothing was going to work.
The first day of treatment, it took Dr. D'Amato about 15 minutes to make adjustments. But on that first day of treatment, he was able to take his pain, which was at a 9 when we came, down to 0 that day. You could see the relief on his face. It was for the first time, really since November, it was the first time that he had felt truly pain-free. The next day, it continually got better. It was 7, 6. And by Monday, he was completely off his Neurontin. And as of Tuesday of this week, he really has not experienced anything above a 1, and probably for about the last 60 hours now, he's been at no pain level whatsoever.
Innovation is the cornerstone of success in America. In order to compete in the global marketplace, businesses and individuals are continuously striving to stay ahead of the game. I'm Terry Bradshaw. You know, from emerging technologies and financial strategies to the latest healthcare developments, you would be surprised by the many factors coming into play. Welcome to Today in America. A report on relieving pain in America by the Institute of Medicine of the National Academies states that at least 116 million adult Americans experience chronic pain. According to the National Pain Foundation, the human body can feel pain in 2 main ways. Pain caused by injury to tissue, such as muscle, bones, ligaments, and body organs, is called nociceptive pain. The other type of pain occurs when a nerve is injured. It's called neuropathic pain. Nerve pain is usually a chronic problem that can follow injury or damage to the nervous system. It's also very common among chemotherapy patients.
Does it feel the same in here as it does up in here? All right. And
Dr. Jack D'Angelo is medical director for Forest Rehabilitation Medicine in Staten Island, New York.
The nerve is all the input into the body, whether it's light touch, temperature, position in space. The classic example I think we use is when a kid touches a hot stove and a signal goes up to the brain, says it's hot, move away, and the kid says ouch and walks away from it. In chronic pain or in negative pain, that signal never shuts off. It's always telling you that there's a bad pain and there's an injured area.
Dr. D'Angelo and his team started using a new type of therapy called Calmar Scrambler Therapy in February of 2011. He and his patients are pleased with the results.
The types of patients I treat with the Scrambler Therapy are patients with neuropathy, whether this is from chemotherapy or from chronic conditions like diabetes or thyroid disease. Prior to this, I was confined to using medications and surgical interventions that had side effects and often weren't successful. With the Scrambler Therapy, we're seeing better results and no side effects.
Developed in Italy, this effective, non-invasive pain therapy technology is globally distributed by Competitive Technologies. Publicly traded, it is listed on the OTCQX as CTTC. The term calmare means soothing in Italian.
The scrambler therapy technology was developed by Professor Giuseppe Marineo and tested for the first time in Tor Vergata Medical University in Rome, Italy. Professor Marineo observed that many patients suffering from chronic neuropathy were non-responsive to traditional drug therapies. He investigated the prospect of treating these patients without drugs, and this led to the research of the calmare scrambler therapy. Calmare scrambler therapy technology is based on 5 artificial neurons capable of generating information perceived as self and interpreted as non-pain by the central nervous system. During treatment with this technology, the patient will be pain-free. A multi-treatment cycle stabilizes the pain relief effect.
Doctors are seeing the same kind of success in patients suffering from other types of nerve pain.
Well, it's made a tremendous difference in my life. I'm now able to raise my feet, sit with my feet up. I'm able to drive my car. When I first came to Dr. Jack, I was unable to drive. When I couldn't drive, I couldn't take that, so I came and he suggested I try this machine. And sure enough, the strength in my right leg came back, and I'm driving fine now. And I now can sit up at night with my feet up like everyone else when I'm tired, and I can't say how grateful I am.
Cleared by the FDA, the technology is currently being used to treat patients in several clinics throughout the United States. It is also being used in Italy, India, Greece, Bangladesh, Ireland, Saudi Arabia, and Albania. In the future, it is expected to become the first line of relief for patients suffering from ongoing chronic neuropathic pain.
Calmar pain relief therapy has been the best thing to ever happen to me in my life. The type of pain that I have, which is reflex sympathetic dystrophy or chronic regional pain syndrome, either or, it's phantom pain. It's pain for no reason. Something that started just in the abdominal area had now spread into both of my hips, both of my thighs, down into the back of my knees, into my right shoulder and neck, and across my whole lower back. 2 years ago, I was going to get a morphine pump installed. And the anesthesiologist came in, talked to me and take me for a walkthrough on how it was going to happen. And he scared the living daylights out of me and my mother. They were going to go ahead and fillet my spine. So then I was introduced to this treatment, the scrambler technology. And I saw my husband on the way here. I'm like, I'm going to walk out the same as I walked in. They put me on the machine. And I guess other people, when they get hooked up, it's like when you hit a certain level, the pain's gone. But with me, it acted differently. As they turned it up, my pain sort of collapsed into a ball and then blipped out, kind of like turning off a television. And as they got to the highest point, it was just gone. And everybody cried because I started crying and I just said, oh my God, the pain's gone. For the first time in 30 years, I had no pain, none.
Welcome back to 12T Health. I'm Dr. Derek De Silva. 1 in 3 Americans lives with some type of chronic pain. Medications provides only temporary relief. But for those seeking a more permanent fix, there's an FDA-approved treatment that's showing results. It's called Calmar therapy. It's non-invasive, drug-free, and pain-free. And my next guest is one of only 5 certified providers of this treatment in the country. Here to tell us about it is Dr. Michael Cooney, a chiropractor with Rutherford Allied Medical Group. Also joining me is Laura Miller, a teacher who's been treated successfully with Calmar. Welcome to the program. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
More common causes of pain, doctor? I mean, there are so many people in this country with pain. What would you see the top 2 or 3 are?
Well, right now we're dealing with a variety of conditions from CIPN to RSD to diabetic neuropathy, post-surgical trauma, any neuropathy that occurs following these conditions.
You mentioned a couple of abbreviations, some initials there. Could you just tell us what those are?
CIPN is chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, which is a result of the chemotherapy because of its high metal content.
Right.
Actually damages the nerve and causes the neuropathy.
And then the other one you mentioned?
Was reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which is which Laura had.
And what is that?
That's a condition that is very curious in its origin, in that it generally starts following a trauma, but the tissue where the trauma occurred is totally healed. They've done MRIs, X-rays, EMGs, all sorts of testing to determine that there is no relevant cause for the pain in that particular area.
But there's typically pain that is in that area.
Pain.
Laura, what happened to you?
Initially, I was in a car accident, and then I also had a foot surgery, and those two things combined started chronic pain in my life. It was a severe burning and electric pain. Felt like I was getting electrocuted or stabbed with a knife, and I was also very hypersensitive to touch. Nothing could touch my foot. I would cry just putting the sock on.
So let's get right to this. What is the Kalmar therapy?
Kalmar therapy is a set of algorithms that are used, that are delivered via pads that are placed outside the treatment area.
What's going on here? Tell us, just talk over this.
Okay, what is going on here is you'll see the pads that are placed on the patient, and what we're following generally is the dermatome, that
which is the path along which the nerve runs.
Correct.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is send a message through the pain area from no pain areas to the brain, in essence trying to disrupt what's called the somatosensory cortex, so that the brain will no longer see that area as a pain site.
What's your success rate with this?
With RSD, I would say we're at 85%. And
with reflex sympathetic dystrophy,
correct.
And what about with chemotherapy-induced?
I personally have only started doing it on chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, but Mayo, Massey Cancer Institute, a number of heavy institutions are doing recent studies with it now and are showing significant progress with it. In fact, Walter Reed is doing a phantom limb syndrome, which is, it's obvious that there's no pain there because the limb is no longer.
Laura, living with pain has got to be one of the most debilitating conditions that people can have. Before and after, tell me how your life has been affected.
Before, I wouldn't let it take over my life. I had a real desire to finish college and start my career, but it had to take over some aspect, and I really suffered just having a normal life for someone in their 20s. You know, I didn't go out with friends and just those kind of activities. Everything involved pain, and to put it simply, for years of my life, I could not go a day without screaming and crying in pain every night, and now I don't.
How long did it take how many treatments typically does it take for people to get relief from the pain?
I think it varies, but from what I understand, Dr.
How about you? Talk about your condition. How long did it take?
The very first treatment, I felt significant relief.
Really?
In fact, when it was finished, I just started crying because I forgot what it felt to feel like without pain. But then once I finished the course of treatments, I was completely pain-free.
Is there anybody that's not a candidate for this type of therapy, doctor?
We don't do the therapy on anybody with acute conditions. For the most part, I don't think I've seen anybody that hasn't had the pain for a minimum of 1.5 years.
Really?
Many of the patients, like Laura, have been suffering from 3. I have a woman that's starting next week that's had the pain for 15 years.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Great information. Still.
My name is Bill, and I've had RSD for a little bit over 1.5 years as a result of a knee replacement surgery. Tried many different types of treatments. Nothing worked. Even got in with Dr. Schwartzman to have ketamine infusions. Was rejected for that. but I'm very grateful that I didn't get that because of the drugs that would have been pumped through me. We discovered Calmare treatments with Dr. Cooney just in the last month, and we're very excited that it was a non-invasive treatment.
Many Americans suffer from chronic, debilitating nerve pain every day. Nerve pain can occur from widespread diseases such as cancer, diabetes, shingles, or more common back pain like sciatica. Often, sufferers deal with a searing, burning, electrical shock feeling that can leave them miserable and make it impossible to function in day-to-day life. Traditionally, patients have found few options for pain relief other than potentially addictive narcotic painkillers with harmful side effects. Now, following months of intensive research, clinical trials, and FDA review, a new, non-invasive pain therapy medical device, already in use in Europe for some time and currently available in the U.S., has proven to be successful in helping thousands of people safely relieve their pain. Named Calmare Therapy Treatment, the device treats debilitating, neuropathic, and oncologic pain, including pain resistant to morphine, without any adverse or harmful side effects. John Nano, CEO of Competitive Technologies, the New York Stock Exchange-listed company behind Calmare, brought the technology to the U.S. after an introduction to its heralded use in Europe.
For 3,000 years, man has tried to treat pain using drugs and acupuncture, trying to block the pain signal from the brain. Our biophysical device actually changes the signal to a no pain signal. So this non-invasive device has none of the harmful side effects of narcotic painkillers.
Doctors are thrilled to see clear and immediate results with this innovative therapy on their patients. According to Dr. Stephen D'Amato, Calmare therapy treatment is effective with both chronic neuropathic pain and acute oncological pain. It works by transmitting low-frequency electrical stimulation that sends a no-pain signal to the brain.
Narcotics have, in this country, led to many deaths, and as a matter of fact, in the last year, the number of deaths from narcotic overdose has doubled in this country. This type of technology hopefully will reduce that number considerably as we move forward in the future using this type of therapy in place of narcotics.
Calmare therapy treatment has successfully been used with thousands of patients worldwide and is currently in use at renowned medical facilities, including the University of Miami Pain Management Center, Virginia Commonwealth University's Massey Cancer Center, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison Carbone Cancer Center. Dr. D'Amato recently opened a new, first-of-its-kind pain clinic in North Providence, Rhode Island, exclusively offering Calmare therapy treatment and providing patients with a convenient, locally based facility for treatment. With overwhelming response so far, he has plans to open 12 additional facilities throughout the U.S. in the next 24 months.
The thing that excites me the most is that for the first time in my career, over 30 years as a physician, I found the therapy that truly works and truly has no side effects.
For more information on Calmare therapy treatment, visit www.calmaret.com.
Hi, my name is Amanda Davidson, and I'm 16 years old. Over a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with something called RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. I've had 4 lumbar sympathetic nerve blocks, and I've had also an epidural nerve block, and those just seem to intensify my pain. And I was not able to walk. I was on bed rest for 2 months, and I was up at Mayo, and they had gotten me walking. And after that, Mayo said they couldn't do anything else. So then we went back home, and I just did a lot of therapy over the summer. And then I had ended up going to Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and I had 2 lidocaine infusions there, and none of them seemed to work. And then I also then went to Cleveland Children's Hospital, and I was there for 3 weeks doing a pain clinic, and after just coming home from that, that just set me through the roof, and it had made my whole condition so much worse. We heard about Calamar, and it has completely changed my life. When the first day was here, when I was a nervous wreck, and then when they had put the pads on, just the lightest touch of the cord would set me through the roof. And the first day we had spent over 2 hours just trying to get everything to work out. And Dr. Cooney and Dr. Michael are the absolute best doctors. Have completely changed my life. Now my pain was over 10 all the time, and now it's like a 0 or a 1. It was my left leg that was bad, and now I can touch the whole thing with like 0 to 1 pain, and it's just absolutely amazing.
Many Americans suffer from severe nerve pain every day. Now, after years of intensive research and clinical trials, both in Europe and the US, a new FDA-cleared device has proven that there are successful ways to help these thousands of people safely relieve chronic pain.
Hello, my name is Dr. Cooney. I'm with Rutherford Allied Medical. We are the only providers in the state of New Jersey of a new and innovative treatment for chronic debilitating pain, Calmar therapy. Calmar pain therapy is an innovative approach to treating pain without medication, without pens, without injections, without any type of injectable or implantable devices. Patients suffer from these conditions and have no other option for treatment other than pharmaceutical option or drugs. Calmar therapy gives you the opportunity to achieve pain relief from these severe conditions without any side effects. Scrambler therapy takes a neurological malfunction that occurs within the brain. Usually what happens is there's an injury somewhere in the body. In many of these cases it could be the lower limb or even the upper limb. For some reason that seems to be the most common. What occurs is when the original injury happens, the tissue is in danger, it's damaged. At that point it sends a message up through the leg, through the spine, and up to the brain saying, I'm in pain. The brain then does whatever it needs to, sending blood flow, sending information down to that damaged tissue, trying to heal it. For some reason, whether it be a breakdown in the gating mechanism, there's some people that utilize a term called the brain matrix, the information that the tissue is healed is no longer received by the brain. What this machine does is take the no pain signal and moves it through the pain area, ultimately to the brain, trying to re-educate it to understand that there's no pain in that area.
For more information, visit our website at www.calmartherapynj.com or call us at 201-933-4440.